Well, I've just had the biggest clear out of players that I've had since the big clear out that almost got us relegated a few years back. To celebrate the clear out, I'd like to play a little game. Before you watch the rest of this episode, once I've done explaining the game, of course, I want you to pause the video, go down into the comments and tell me who you think we've sold. Clues: we've sold 5 players who've played over 100 games for Nuneaton, plus another one who was a regular-ish in the first team last year, who would have played more than 100 games for us if he'd have been with us at any other time in the history of the football club. So 6 major first team squad members have all gone for over £100 million in total. Who's gone? Hello and welcome to part 175 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we are going to have a look through all those summer transfers. Lots of players leaving, not so many coming in. We've actually made a £50 million transfer profit this summer. We've got over £100 million sat in the bank. The transfer window's closed and we've still got £20 million to spend in January, and our wage bill is less than it was last year. And with all that taken into account, I think it's been a good window. We've certainly fixed our dynamics problems, which gives you a little bit of a clue over some of the players who've left. And we've also won the Community Shield. We beat Burnley 3-1 in the Community Shield, dominated the game, and we play them next in the league as well. So hopefully we'll dominate them again and you'll get to see that. But without further ado, I'm really just filling time for those of you who didn't pause the video to finish writing your comment about who you think has left. But there has been some big transfers and you are going to criticise me, I think. But the signings... I think the signings and the youngsters we've got coming through balance it all out, and I do think our squad is stronger now than it was at the end of last season. So, without further ado, the transfers. As expected, we've sold Vujicic to Paris Saint-Germain, £13.5 million. I know it's a lot less than we paid for him. We paid £27 million for him, but we have had 5 seasons of regular football from him for £27 million. He lost his place in the team last year. I know not all of you agreed with him losing his place in the team, but he has been unhappy on our dynamics page for about 3 seasons, and I wonder if, in order to be really, really successful, we need a polished, squeaky clean dynamics page. And I'll show you the dynamics page before we play the Burnley game. It's looking better than it has since we were running through the leagues, getting our promotions. And I'm hoping that's going to be the key to this season. And the trade-off for that is we are losing some experience. So Vujicic has gone to Paris Saint-Germain and has gone straight into their team as well. So, you know, to be fair, it's a good move for him. They're paying him exactly what we were paying him, £97,000 a week. So he's not made any more money. He's just off he pops. And we've also sold Stoyanov, mainly because he didn't really get the job done. We brought him in. He was only ever coming in as our 4th choice striker. He struggled to get into the team. We got a decent offer for him, so we let him go. We've also brought in a new striker to replace him. Ashley Hayes, we mentioned this in the last episode. It was probably time for him to leave. He's 30 now. He's another one who's been with us a long time. We got 5 seasons out of Ashley Hayes as well. And we've only lost £2.5 million on him. I think that's good business all round. And again, we've brought in a direct replacement for Hayes, we'll meet in a second. The biggest one, I mean, I wish this hadn't have had to happen. Joksimovic has left. He outright refused to sign a new contract. He had a year left, and in the end, we were offered £26 million for a man who was out of contract. For a man who could go to Bayern for 3 in 4 months' time, they could sign him on a pre-contract and just take him off us for nothing. So for £26 million, we didn't really have much of a choice. And we do have 2 very good left-backs coming through, one of which you know is Sretenovic, one of which you haven't met yet, but I'll show you him in a minute. We've also sold Kieran Kerr, mainly because of Jensen. I mean, he's suffered from Jensenitis. His scout report is horrific now. He was showing us only a 2.5-star current ability. It seems broken legs in Football Manager are a serious issue, and players don't recover from them properly, because we had the same with Jensen. Kerr looked like it was a similar situation, although, to be fair to him, he's gone down to Villa, albeit in the Championship. 2 goals from 2, and I hope he goes on to have a cracking time playing for Villa in the Championship. The fact that it's Villa in the Championship who've bought him does make me feel a little bit better about deciding he's not a Champions League winning player, and we made a slight profit on him, which is always good. Carlos Sanchez has moved on as well. Another one who's been unhappy for most of last season because he doesn't get in the team. He's been with us for 2 years, was never going to get past Coupler. We have a good right back coming through the youth system. Wanda can play right back as well, and just felt like it made sense. Clean up the dynamics page, let him go. Another controversial one, Brodic has left. This is purely a decision based on dynamics. He got in a right grumpy that Kieran Kerr had left. There was no convincing him. Then he didn't turn up to training, and I just said, you know what, Patrick, we're done with you. So as much as I love Patrick Brodic, we've had a big row over the summer, and he's another one who, after 5 years of service, we've moved on at a significant profit. He goes to Inter Milan to replace the guy who we've signed from Inter Milan to replace him in our squad. Oh, stupid text messages interrupting my flow. Much apologies. Eddie Marshall-Water's gone as well. I'm going to give him an outgoing speech because he has been a good servant. He's been our third choice keeper for 8 years. We brought him on a free transfer from Brighton back when we were in the Championship. He's never played a game for us in 8 years, but he's been part of all of our Premier League squads. He's played nearly 100 games for other clubs in that time. It's a little bit harsh, having played Championship football last year, that he's going to have to go and play in the conference for Lincoln because he's got lots of experience higher up than that. But, you know, he's 26 now. We've ruined his career. We paid him good money, but we've ruined him. How much is he earning at Lincoln? To be fair, he's being well paid to play for Lincoln. He'll do all right. But forget about the outgoings. £104 million, but we spent £54 million of it to bring in the new boys. And these are the new boys. New boy number one, Rogério Francisco, 26-year-old Brazilian international. He is our replacement for Ashley Hayes. 3-star current ability, 3-star potential. He was another one who was just still hanging out in Brazil, so had a minimum fee release clause that was basically peanuts. He's a bit of a risk because he's 26, but he has played for the full national team. He spent a little bit of time in Europe on loan at various clubs as well. But for £5 million for a player who's already better than Hayes is and has a full Brazil cap, it seemed to make sense. He's come straight in, valued at £25 million as well, so he can't be that bad. Plus, if we get absolutely desperate, now Joksimovic has moved on, he can play left back as well. We've also signed another replacement for Hayes. Not necessarily a direct replacement for him. We needed more midfield players. We identified we need to bring in a couple of central midfielders. And Nikola Ruzic is another one, 22-year-old Serbian international, a real Serbian international, unlike the likes of Joksimovic, who've played like 2 or 3 games. This guy's got 25 caps for Serbia already. He's another one who's apparently only 3-star current ability, 3-star potential. I think he's better than that. He's been playing regularly for Barcelona for the last 2 years. I hear they're quite good. So the fact that he's got more than 50 games in Barcelona's first team in the league in the last 2 years says he's going to be a valuable squad member for us. And another one who's a bit of a bargain. And we've then got a couple of youngsters who James Ball has brought in to fill out his youth team. We're not going to worry about those. But the other 2 players we've spent money on, Augustine Mustafa. This is the guy who basically made it okay to let Stoyanov and Kerr go. 25-year-old Nigerian international striker. Again, I'm not trusting star ability much anymore. Can you hear the cheering from the comments section? This guy's good. 14 goals for Burnley last year. He's basically the guy Burnley brought in to replace Charlie Jones when we signed Charlie Jones, and we've just taken this one off him as well. As a 4th choice striker behind Jones, Alonso and Piazza, I think that's not a bad 4th choice striker to have, and a definite upgrade on Stoyanov and Kerr. And we have still got Rokic knocking around the club as well as a 5th choice striker. And then, arguably signing of the summer, Gianpaolo Torraccia, I don't know how you say Italian C's, 22-year-old full Italian international centre-back. We have an Italian international centre-back. What more? That's like the definition of what a good centre-back is. He's Italian. He plays for Italy. 4-star current ability as well. So already as good as Day and Ripert. We have 3 real top-quality centre-backs ready for when Ripert bottles it like he has done towards the end of the season the last couple of years. We just don't have to play him there now. We can go Day and Torraccia, I think is how I'm going to say his name, and he's been at Inter. So we signed him off Inter, and then a week later they came back and gave us most of the money back and took Brodic. So I think £8 million plus Brodic for this guy, that's good business. And that's how the squad looks. I don't think we needed to bring in anybody else, to the point where we've got a 17-year-old signed for the future coming in January just to spend a bit of money. But really, we're probably never going to see him play unless he's absolutely brilliant. Let me know down in the comments if there are still areas of the squad that you think I should fix. But, I mean, it would have been nice maybe to bring in a new left-back, but I'll show you the reason I haven't brought in a new left-back. Sretenovic He's already as good as Coupler on star ratings, which I know we're ignoring, but he's only 20. He's actually played more caps for Serbia than Joksimovic has in the same position. So it seems only fair to give him a go. And if he ends up being rubbish, we have a genuine wonder kid in the shape of David Roberts. Where is it? Somewhere. There you go. Actual wonder kid who's got 15 caps for Wales already. Same age as Sretenovic at 20. Yes, he's apparently only 2.5 star current ability, but has 4-star potential. He's got loads of games in the Championship in recent years and now an assist in the Community Shield as well. So I think it would be silly of me to go out and spend £20 million on a left back without at least giving those two half a season to battle it out and see if one of them can establish themselves as a superstar. Likewise at right back, we've got nothing really behind Coupler other than the fact Wanda can drop back there, and we do have more options in central midfield now. This is a midfield that doesn't have Francisco or Centurion in it, so if Coupler did get injured, we could drop Wanda back to right back, no problem, and bring one of those guys into midfield. And if they both get injured, we have got Mark Ricketts, who's one of our own. Yes, he's only 17, but he is 2-star current ability already with the potential to get better. It'd be nice to have a player we've actually developed for our own youth team for the first time in goodness knows how long, and that's the reason we didn't buy another goalkeeper as well. So we've moved Vujicic and Marshall Ward on, and we're going with Harris as our first choice. Oliveira stays on the bench, which is where he basically lives, and our third choice keeper, Maximiliano Riley, an Argentinian under-20 international, 5-star potential, who again came through our own youth team. So I think he's perfectly acceptable third choice keeper for us. So we're putting a little bit of faith in some of our own youngsters in the shape of Riley, Ricketts, Roberts, and then just, I don't know, giving players the opportunity to step up a little bit. And if it's not working by the time we get to January, at that point we've still got money to go and spend. It all makes sense to me, and I'm hoping the introduction of the likes of Toracha and some better midfield players, these should be the difference makers that are going to let us have a bit of a run in the Champions League. And my favourite bit at all is this dynamics page. We have good match cohesion despite some big churn of players, an excellent dressing room atmosphere which we've never had since we've been in the Premier League. And these are our new team leaders. They're very similar to the old ones. Wanda's just come back up again in place of Brodic. So it was Nuhu, Jones and Brodic. Wanda had dropped down when he lost the captaincy, but we just moved him back up again. We've also given Ripert the vice-captaincy that Brodic had. Seems a bit mad when he's not great at big games, but I'm thinking similar to what I was thinking with Charlie Jones. He's our best young player in that position. I like having a centre-back as a captain, and it might just sort his head out a little bit. You never know, but I think that's a well-balanced hierarchy page as well. Social groups, everyone's getting settled in nicely. I'm confident. We played well against Burnley in the first game, and hopefully we'll play well against them in this game as well. And this is the team we're putting out there to try and do exactly that. We have Harris in goal. A back four, Sretenovic, Toracha, Day and Coupler, with Wanda, Caminero and Ruzic in midfield, and Serenuk Nuhu in behind Jones and Piazza up front. We do have a couple of injury and suspension issues for the first day of the season. Fernandez is out until Christmas with his broken leg. He might never be the same again, going by the Jensen and Kerr rules, which is one of the reasons we've kept Maestro at the club, because I was thinking we don't need 4 attacking midfielders, but he's out until Christmas anyway. We'll see how he is when he comes back, and then in January we're going to sell one of Maestro or Fernandez, depends which one's looking better at the time. And Esteban's just recovering from an injury as well, he's not quite ready. Plus Ripert, of course, is suspended because he's a big game bottler. Let's go and play Burnley. Right. Press all these buttons. Apologies for the pausing, you might have noticed. I've got a sniffle, so I just paused to blow my nose. That's why I've now had to go and press all those buttons again. A good YouTuber would edit that out, but I probably won't. So let's just hope I don't have to sniffle and sneeze anymore. And yes, we've prepared for life without Ripert. We bought a £20 million defender just to cover him while he's suspended. And Esteban, we don't want to risk him. I don't know who that guy is. Please, let's play some good football and not have any howlers from Harry's. I've put a lot of faith in that man on the basis that, again, we're not using star ratings, but on star ratings, he's as good as Vujicic. He actually wants to be here, which Vujicic hasn't for years. And if he is a complete disaster, Oliveira can't be that bad. So we've got Oliveira to come in if we need to anyway, who we've never really given an opportunity to. Charlie Jones against his old club, 6 minutes into the new season. We are the Monday night game as well, so everybody else has already played. I think they should have just carried over the Community Shield result and let us have that as our league thing. Although it is nice to see how we've progressed over the summer. Ashley Hayes, of course, in the Burnley team. Oh, it feels bad to see him playing for somebody else. But obviously, we were really toothless against Burnley in the FA Cup final. I think we'd just run out of steam at that point. Whereas we looked excellent against them in the Community Shield. And fingers crossed, Harry's is a hero. And fingers crossed, we're going to look good against them in the league as well and get ourselves off to a good start. Because remember, last season, even though we won the league, we did lose 5-0 on the first day of the league season against Arsenal, who were dominant up until about Christmas time when they just fell off the boil, let us jump in ahead of them. And they never really made it back. A massive ball over the top from Ashley Hayes. He knows how to attack against Nuneaton. That's using his insider knowledge there. But another good save from Harry's to keep us in the game, really. Burnley have had 2 clear-cut chances, and it's been a good goalkeeping performance. Hayes with the corner. Another astonishingly good save from Harry's, who is having the game of his life. He didn't like having another good goalkeeper breathing down his neck. He wanted that confidence boosting, "You are my number one, sir." And he's going to be a hero now. Please be a hero. This could be the turning point of the save. Either we go on and win the Champions League this year with this squad, or we end up finishing mid-table because we haven't got a proper goalkeeper anymore or a proper left back. Oh, there's been some risks taken this summer. I don't know if I'd have done this same transfer window if I had another 6 months of game time before FM19 came out. If I knew I could take 7 or 8 seasons to go and win the Champions League, I think I've been a little bit calmer about things. But I've done what I think we've got a squad that could win the Champions League. Bearing in mind Man City have won it the last 2 years in a row, and on our day, or over the course of a full season, we were better than Manchester City last year. We could beat them in a one-off game if it came down to it. And if they're the dominant team in Europe, there's every chance we could be the second best team in Europe, because we're the second best team in the Premier League and we won it last year. And I think we've improved hugely over the summer. This could be our year. And looking at my little notes in front of me, where are we? So we've got, after today, 1, 2, 3 weeks until the FM19 beta comes out. So we've got 2 seasons max to win the Champions League. We don't have to do it this year. We need to show some progress towards it. We have to do it by the end of next season. I think it's doable. Let me know down in the comments, based on the squad we've got now and the transfers we've just done, how likely is it at this point that you think we'll win the Champions League in the next 2 seasons before this save ends? I asked this question probably about a month back, and only about 50% of you thought we could win the Champions League. I would be interested to see if that number's changed based on the couple of seasons we've played since then. Well, I think we have come on leaps and bounds. Right, we've got Francisco, one of the new guys, coming on in midfield with Centurion. And I think it's only fair to bring Mustafa on with 15 minutes to go. Oh, in fact, we can't because Nuhu's picked up an injury. What is it with our attacking midfielders and getting injured? Potential foot injury. I mean, that could be a long-term one. I did want to bring Mustafa on, but we've got Maestro on the bench. We need to give him the opportunity when the game forces us to. So I guess we don't get to give Mustafa a game against his former club. I am a little bit worried about Nuhu now because I know Esteban's nearly fit again, but I don't really want to go into all the way to January with only Esteban and Maestro, because I'm still not sure about Maestro. Ball over the top from Francisco. That was superb, and Jones forces the save out of the Burnley keeper. We have got back into this game a little bit in the second half. I know scoreline-wise we've been in control all the way through, but we're level on clear-cut chances now, and we are playing nicely. Piazza to Francisco doesn't make it all the way there, and Burnley have the opportunity to do a little bit of a counter-attack here. There's still 2 minutes of added time left, which again is a little bit of a worry when it comes to Nuhu, and we've won the free kick. I thought we'd given away a penalty there, but I think we are pretty much there now. Sretenovic saying, "Who's this Joksimovic guy you keep talking about? If he's worth £26 million, I'm worth £46 million. Look at me do a slide tackle." There you go. That's a successful transfer window and a successful first day of the new season. Let's just have a look to see if a dark cloud has been cast over the whole affair with a proper Nuhu injury. So Serenik Nuhu, couple of months. It's not ideal. It's also not disastrous though. Let's just reassure him he's not going to lose his place, that he's only just one back. Anyway, if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.